Hello, everyone, and welcome to 321 Gang's webinar, Establish a Digital Value Stream using IBM Engineering Lifecycle Management and IBM UrbanCode Velocity. My name is Kara Rawlings, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about 321 Gang before we dig in. 321 Gang are a Platinum IBM business partner and a scaled Agile training partner. The Gang are the continuous engineering experts and an industry leader in scaling lean and agile practices. We offer our clients a powerful combination of expert IBM and SAFe consulting services, training, and software tooling solutions to accelerate and drive results in the most complex, highly regulated systems and software engineering environments. 321 Gang's engineering expertise can help. Whether you're facing regulatory, economic, or technological challenges, 321 Gang offers industry-focused training and consulting. So talk to us today and learn how we can help deliver the solutions your team needs. Please take note of the question box in the control panel. We'll be accepting questions throughout the presentation, and we'll be addressing them at the end. So today we have three presenters, and they're all from IBM. We have Osman Buruca, and he's the offering manager, product manager for IBM UrbanCode product family. After a decade as software developer, Ozzy moved to consulting for development quality management, software configuration, and change management. And several years ago, he added application release automation and cloud to his portfolio. 2 years ago, he became a member of the IBM Worldwide DevOps SWAT team. So next, we have Bhawana. Bhawana Gupta is a product manager on the IBM Engineering team responsible for Engineering Workflow Manager, or otherwise known as RTC, compliance, and agile at scale offerings. As certified SAFe program consultant, Bhawana works closely with customers on how IBM engineering solutions can be adopted for all things agile, lean, safe, and compliance. In her 24 years of working expertise, she has interlocked with organizations and teams to assist them in their IT transformation initiatives and evangelize acceptance of software and systems engineering best practices and IBM offerings. Daniel Cappon is the third presenter, and he has over 20 years experience in software development, continuous delivery, DevOps, and automated testing. Daniel joined IBM in 2003 from Rational Software and has been a technical sales specialist for over 20 years. Currently, Daniel is part of the worldwide DevOps technical sales team focusing on UrbanCode Velocity and the IBM Rational Testing Suite. So Daniel, Bhawana, and Ozzy, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Kara. Welcome everybody today to our webinar on establishing the value stream management using the IBM solution. Today we are going to start with a brief introduction to value stream management, and we lead into the IBM portfolio for value stream management, covering the enterprise agile planning, DevOps, and then how together you can put them to create a value stream map, a digital value stream map, and followed by a demonstration from Daniel for demonstrating how this value stream mapping can be established. So market disruptions are transforming how businesses work and innovate. The disruptions could be in all shapes and forms. There is no domain, no industry where disruptions do not call for transformation of how businesses are delivering to their customers. The need to transform comes with its own set of challenges, and these are just a few here. I'm sure there are many that you are experiencing in your own organization, but these challenges could range from on how to change the business model to how to ensure that the requirements are really delivering what the user needs and building them in a fashion that they're able to deliver at the right time. And of course, maintaining the quality of notion at all times, because the notion of quality is changing. It's no longer about just delivering a software or a system or a product with low defects or no defects, but it is about quality is more about what the customer wants, the whole user experience. Now, organizations across the world and across all industries either adopt agile or DevOps and or a combination of agile and DevOps to really address some of these transformation needs. Agile helps them to address some of the challenges around delivering fast, basically to get the speed and align as early as possible to the goals and the strategy of the organization. Whereas DevOps helps them deliver right, optimize versus minimize their resource usage, reduce their cost of delivery. So basically, adoption of Agile and DevOps is about being efficient and or being effective on this. For most, a lot of people think Agile planning and DevOps are an either or situation, but these two are more or less complementary. You would see that the Agile practices really scale from the beginning of the product development or systems or software engineering to the end of the systems software engineering, when the deliverable is all made available. But at what really neither of these help you address is give you deep insights into some of the questions that you really need to manage this entire delivery chain. How ready is my code to release? Where am I really in my delivery cycle? Where am I as far as the scope of the work that I was supposed to deliver against a milestone? How well are my teams performing? Or what really is creating those bottlenecks for me, and how can I minimize them? Some of these answers are given to you at in different lights, and especially when you're using a heterogeneous tool set, you get them all over the place. But how do you really consolidate this into one single place? And that's where value stream management really comes into place. Value stream management is a lean agile practice which helps us to improve the flow of value to the organization while managing and monitoring the software or the systems delivery lifecycle by visualizing the delivery from the idea or the concept to the actual delivered state, that is when it reaches the customer, through the entire production stream, that is through your planning, your defining, your building, validating, and release. Value stream management strives for an efficient and quality focused system that uses resources exactly as needed and produces products or services that achieve optimum results. It helps identify waste. Essentially, waste is in any process in the value stream for which does not add value. It helps minimize bottlenecks because it helps you manage dependencies across a complex organization, different agile release trains, if I may call this, and provide insight into how to break these dependencies to optimize the flow. Value stream management helps align cross-functional teams for greater buy-in, creating a shared understanding of the current situation, placing an emphasis and priority on developing the basic process that generates value so that it can be placed in the ideal workflow in a future state. Value stream management also enables automated continuous compliance and auditability. It ensures that there is a governance around what is being done, by whom it's being done, and when it's being done to deliver value. Value stream management basically provides the center point for conversation on future growth. It helps establish a company's vision and set common goals for growth for all agile release trains which are a part of the value stream. So if you look at this here, typically IBM delivers a broad portfolio for value stream management across all disciplines that really go into systems and software delivery, starting from the ideation to the requirements to the managing of the entire workflow, the actual building, testing and the deploy and the release, that is making it available to the customer. IBM provides a broad set of products which together can help you create a platform for value stream management. Other than the IBM products, the portfolio provides endpoints or through OSLC or REST APIs where you can plug in your other third-party tools or homegrown tools, because we understand that there are many times when organizations look to adopting different products from different vendors to create a tool chain. So let's start with how IBM ELM, that is Engineering Lifecycle Management, can help scale agile across the enterprise. Firstly, Engineering Lifecycle Management helps you streamline agile development to scale across the organization. Scaling across the organization requires a lot of discipline, rigor, and a lot of coordination and planning across the different levels or horizons of the planning onion. Starting from the top, it helps align all stakeholders across the portfolio using strategic themes, OKRs, and roadmaps. It helps you create or manage your portfolio through its lean portfolio management. It helps drive value delivery using economic ranking to deliver the right things, be efficient, because not only is speed important, but also be effective, because you want to deliver the right things to your customers or that address the market needs. There is a whole track and plan that uses real-time agile planning of execution status across the enterprise. And this planning really can scale at all levels of the organization, whether it is just a team of teams, or a team of teams. So whether we're talking about portfolio, large solution, or if you're talking about a program or teams. So across all levels of SAFe, through our implementation of SAFe and our support of SAFe, we provide support for tracking and planning at all levels. An important aspect when we talk of a value stream is about linking the planning to the execution and establishing an end-to-end traceability across all disciplines. In the previous slide, we saw that how you have requirements, you have build, you have test, deploy, release, and end-to-end traceability across the the disciplines is important, because that really is what ties together the value stream. Ozzy will talk some more about that. Then, of course, when we talk about agile, collaboration, transparency is important, and that's where a lot of our underlying capability about in-context discussions, activity feeds really help remove bottlenecks and avoid quality issues. The important thing is they help to reduce the bottlenecks and minimize the wait times. That is very important for an effective value stream. Teams, we are talking of scaling agile, and here it becomes very important that when we talk of team of teams or team of teams, we talk about unifying them across a single release cadence, but importantly understanding that there may be teams that are unique. They need to follow either their own process, or they are technologically doing different things or delivering at a different beat. The nature of deliverable, for example, in a product development team, there could be teams that are developing or delivering the software components. There are teams that are delivering the hardware components. So engineering lifecycle management helps you unify teams by orchestrating the delivery across hybrid teams. The hybrid teams could be whether they follow processes of their own, and it all ties into one organizational process to kind of give you a single reporting and a single tie in the value stream. Like I mentioned, it is also to unify the hybrid teams. They're working across different technologies. Each developer sitting in their own environment can really plug into this platform to deliver and build which is native to their own need.
Yeah, and thank you, Bhawana, for providing the stepping stones for going more into detail about what we offer in the, let's say, value stream management or let's say in the DevOps practice based off on the IBM UrbanCode. IBM UrbanCode is a product family who will help you to automate all your deployments of any software asset. This means from legacy environments like the ZOS over the client server applications, virtualizing applications, up to any cloud-based application, microservices. All of this kind can be automatically deployed, orchestrated, and managed by the UrbanCode family. A second part is the quality management issue part. As Bhawana mentioned before, test and quality is an integral part of the whole software lifecycle and also of your value stream map. So this means we can also plug into the automated testing parts which we provide with the IBM DevOps solutions to do a full stack testing, may it again from the legacy applications which are in green screen up to legacy native applications running on Windows, to Windows-based application, web-based applications, and up to mobile applications can be tested. And the good idea is that we can also do a shift left, testing it early before any UIs are available, testing on the application layer. This means APIs, protocols, and also helping you to virtualize these technologies for providing easier testing for other parts which are relying on these services which are not easily available. This makes your life even better. The third part is the value stream management part, where we build up a DevOps data lake, let's say, where we are gathering all the data so that we can deliver the governance and reporting and some machine learning insights of the provided data to see what is happening in your projects and in your software delivery lifecycle. The good thing is that this will scale about from your small teams up to the whole organization, in context with also with the ELM platforms, and it will not only enhance the experience of the stakeholders on the let's say English is a hard language for me sometimes, on the management platform, but also on the developer experience will also be expanded here, because all the developer teams will also have a good insight what is happening in the value stream, what kind of information is available, how is my deployments going, where are my changes, is the whole thing ready to change, and they have also get the capabilities to do their triggering of deployments and getting metrics feedback back from the system about their capabilities and their OKRs and their metrics. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah, here's just a small introduction into the digital value stream. Daniel will do a more detailed introduction. The main idea is that we will connect to your data, or you will push the data into our value stream management tool called Velocity, and this will start to make it visible for you. How this map will be configured is up to you. That's an example where we have 4 stages: planning, development, deployment, and maintain. And in this stage, in these stages, we have some sub-stages like what is the backlog, what is selected for development, what is in progress review, and so on. This view will give you in one screen all the information of what is happening in your value stream. Where are my issues or my backlog items? Where are my merge requests? Where are my are there any commits without any attached ticket, for example? Which tickets, which tasks or stories or epics have been deployed or are in the productive state, and it will give you color-coded and style-coded information and can switch between them and can get a good insight into it. And you can also click on it and get summary information without needing to switch into the detailed view. But if you want, it will give you the link and you can go into the detailed view of this issue, ticket, task, whatever it is. The second part of the product is not only showing you the value stream, actually a very major part of it is getting end-to-end visibility using information out of the system, like the delivery flow. How long are my lead and cycle times? This means how long did it take from getting a task or issue or story or whatever into the backlog till it has been delivered into production. How long are my cycle times when development is accepting this backlog item and working on it and then putting into the next stage, for example. I can also get information from the deployment systems like ELM deploy or Jenkins or whatever. How high is my deployment frequency? I will get also feedback from the system. What about my throughput? Then quality and security test results, you see, the numbers of tests and what the state of the tests are. And you see also, information about work item distributions. You can plug in information from customer satisfactions and so on. And we also provide some more detailed reports where you just, connect a release readiness report and to make it useful for all your organization to, just getting information what's happening in my environment. Will we do the demonstration now or will it be later? Is it planned to do it now?
Let's hand over this to Daniel. And
Okay. Then I will just give you a short information what we will do in the demo. Daniel will do 3 parts of the demo: the end-to-end visualization of the data, some bottleneck detection, and some intro into the dashboards and metrics. And I will now give over to Daniel. How can I do that here?
Would you like me to do it for you?
Yes, please.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, one sec here. Okay, so you should be able to see my UrbanCode Velocity screen, yes?
Yep, and we see it just fine.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so here we're looking at UrbanCode Velocity, and there's a bunch of parts that I'm going to show you here. And before I go into, Oz touched on it a little bit, but the idea, one of the big ideas of Velocity is that we pull data from many different places and put that together into this data lake where we can represent all this information and link all this information together. So whether your work items are in Jira or EWM or Rally or TFS or whatever, we don't care. If your source code management is, again, EWM or Git or something like that, we can pull that information in. And going on to test assets and build information, deploy information, and so on. We bring this from all different tools into the database so that we can report on it, we can show you value streams, and so on. So if I go back to my list of value streams here, so I'll start off with JK America's value stream. So this is actually manufactured data. If I was to do this properly, I would have to have an entire development team working all day long to generate this data for me, and constantly every day, because it's live data and it shows how things flow from backlog through to eventually into production here. So, and with this, actually, sorry, let me go to the finance one. That's a little better one. With this, we also keep track of some data over time. And there's a couple pieces we keep track of here: lead time and cycle time. So lead time is how long does it typically take from when an item gets added to the backlog to when it ends up in production. So that's from a business point of view. If I have a new piece of functionality, how long does it typically take for that to go into production? Now, these are really nice numbers at 13 days. I don't know if anyone can achieve anywhere close to that. But again, this is what we get out of the data that's in here. And cycle time is from a development point of view. So when the developer picks up an item and starts working on it, typically how long does it take for them to get into production? So again, from a development point of view, how quick can we get this out? And there's lots of other data here. There's some metrics up top here. As Ozzy mentioned, we have some AI in here. So there is what we call bottleneck detection here. So it detected that today, yes, I loaded data today. So my selected for development stream, or that bubble there, has a whole bunch of data that was added to it. And that may throw an imbalance into how things flow through here. So typically we would add items to selected for development over the course of the week, month, and so on. But in this case, a whole bunch was added in one instance. So that's going to mess things up a little bit. Now, each one of these dots, and I'm going to jump back to another slide here for a sec. So again, as I said, each one of these dots comes with data from different places. And it starts with an issue. So taking in an EWM item, for example, if I click on it here and I click on it, it takes me over to EWM. So from this view here, I can instantly jump over to the tool where that issue came from. If I look more at it, actually, so at this point, the developer has just picked it up. If I look a little later stages, so for example, let's pick this one here. It's not a dot. I'll explain that in a minute. But this later stage here, it's got a build associated with it. It's got a deployment associated with it, and so on. And I can click on these things, and it will take me to Jenkins, so I can go see that build that happened. So as a dot moves from left to right, it aggregates all the information about it to the point where when we get over here, we should have tests, we should have builds, we should have deployments, and everything associated with that dot, so we can see exactly what's happening to it. Now, the reason this shows up as a triangle is because this is the commit, and when the developer did the commit, they did not put the work item in the description, or the work item number in the description of the commit. And that's how we automatically link these things together. So if a commit has that work item in it, it automatically links it over, and it stays as a single dot. But in this case, the commit did not have something. So from a development lead point of view, is this possibly something that somebody's working on that does not have a work item? So is my developer doing something that he's just changing some code for the fun of it? Or why is that happening? Again, maybe something to look into. Same thing here. This is a push, a pull request that, again, does not have a work item associated with it. So again, something that we may be working on without actual ticket associated with it. Now, we can see by the shading of the dot, the priority of it, and I can switch to, say, type. So I can see, okay, now I'm looking at bugs, stories, defects, and so on. And this will also give me some information. So I can see that this team has a lot of bugs in their backlog. So they're not really working on a lot of capabilities here. They're spending a lot of time fixing bugs. So yeah, they're doing lots of work, but maybe it's not productive work because they're just fixing bugs. I want to see much more of the stories and tasks in here instead of bugs and defects. And I can also look at it by sprint, and this shows me that yes, sprint 1 is what we're currently working on, 2 is right behind it, and 3 and 4 are back in my backlog here. So that all makes sense. But again, different ways to view this data. I can also do things such as, let's look at, actually, no, let's not do that. I was in my other stream here. If I was in my EWM stream, so this is data that was pulled out of my EWM instance. And again, as before, I can click on these things and it takes me over to EWM. I can look at that item and so on. But I can do some filtering here. So I can say, show me all the stuff that's owned by Dev. And it filters that view down for me. Now, that view is also available in my swim lane view. If I cancel this, I get to see all those dots, and here they're arranged by owner, and I can see at what stage they're in. So this also helps me make sure that my team is spreading the work around between them, and that everyone's doing their fair share of work here. If there's too many dots to fit in the box, you'll see that we summarize it like this, and you also saw that it also does this here in the view as well to make that look a little bit better. Now, switching over to a different view here is my pipeline view, and I'm going to pick a different project for this because I've enhanced this pipeline quite a bit here. So this is where we can actually orchestrate the deployment of applications. So I can see, and these could be applications that are all associated with each other. They could be microservices. They could be whatever we want, really, that we want to see at a granular level, what version is sitting in which environment. So I can see version 137 is in Dev, 136 is in SIT, and so on. I can also tag these. So I've already marked this one, or this one here has been marked as rejected, so it's failed some testing. Unfortunately, it made it up to UAT. We're supposed to be catching that stuff in SIT, but there was some late testing that discovered a bug in this build. So we've marked it as rejected, and here we see that we have a past build sitting in SIT, so maybe it's time to deploy that one up. So I can click on deploy here, and it now gives me all the versions of the applications that are different from UAT. So it compares the two environments, and I can say, well, I don't want to do all of them, and sorry, which one do I want to do? I want to do cards. So I can say, I just want to do cards, and I want to move that 112 version. And I can hit deploy, and it now connects out to Jenkins or UrbanCode Deploy or whatever tool I want to use for my automation, and it is deploying that out. Now I know that in my SIT plan here, I have an environment approval task at the beginning of it, so I know I need to go over here and I need to approve that. And once I've done that, it will do that one little job. In this, again, in this case, it's the Jenkins job to do that cards application. And it passed in the version number that needs to be deployed. And these little placeholders for all the other apps, there's nothing here because I didn't ask them to be run. I also have a smoke test that runs at the end of this. And this is the release aspect of Velocity. So I can create these, and this is created from a template. So there's a template that says, okay, I'm doing a branch banking SIT release, and I have an environment sign off at the beginning. I have some smoke tests at the end. I can put in ServiceNow tickets. I can wait on a status of the ServiceNow ticket. There's all kind of things that I can add into this so that it orchestrates all the work that goes around deploying an application. So not just running a Jenkins job, maybe I have to send an email off to somebody, or maybe I'm waiting on a ServiceNow ticket, or whatever that is. This can be orchestrated through the release planning in Velocity. I'll go back to my pipeline here, and sorry, I just brought 112 up. I should have brought 111 into this one. And this is also where we see we have a gate here. So if I try to do a deployment here, if I try to do 112, it's going to say you're trying to deploy a version that has not been approved. So I can override that, but I'm just going to say, you know what? I didn't want that one. I want that 111 version because I know that one is working. And it shows me here that's passed, and I can hit deploy, and it's going to go off and deploy that into UAT. This also allows me to do something called joining a release. So if my enterprise release manager has created a enterprise release or a major release or whatever you want to call it, I can say, okay, I want to join that release. So I can pick the versions of my various tools here, and I think I have an enterprise release. Yeah, there's my June release. It's planned for June 4th. So I'm going to join that release, and I can say which version of which applications I want to put in there. And maybe I'm just going to do that one cards one. I'm going to get that 1.11 version, and I'm going to say join that release. So now when June 4th comes along and that major release kicks off, my deployment of cards to the prod environment is going to get kicked off as part of everything else that goes on that weekend. So any other teams that are using Velocity can join that release, and their steps from their template will be added to the steps that will be taken. I think that's all I want to show here. The value stream, I think I touched on that all. Again, I have a value stream here that is pulled with data straight from EWM. This is from the sample application, Money That Matters. So again, I actually deployed this actually more than a year ago. So yes, the data is all very old in it. It's just been sitting there, but I do have one that I actually just modified, and I brought it back from implemented, or so I brought it back to under review. So again, we can see what happened to it. Again, the complete history of that issue we can see in this view, and again, clicking on it takes me over to it. So very easy to jump between the tools. The links are all there. All that data is available to me, and I can do things such as this Americas view, which I pulled up initially. This actually has 3 different projects in it. So it has my retail, my finance, and my mobile application all merged into one view here. And something that's going to be coming soon in Velocity as well is the idea of multi-stream. So I'm going to actually have 3 different of these streams on top of each other, and they're going to merge at a dev stage or something like that. So again, we can split these dots up into their appropriate sections, and we can see exactly what's going on with them throughout it. I touched on the release part of it. I guess jump in there a little bit here. We can see the releases that are coming up. We can also use this for environment reservation. So I see that I have the SID environment reserved for a certain team, and that shows up in the calendar as these little blue or these little red dots on top of the dates here. Again, I can see other releases, I can see past releases, and so on. So again, lots of stuff that I can see in this view. I can create a new release, schedule, and so on. And the last thing Velocity does is, with all that data that we pull in from all those other tools, we can bring that together into some views here to give us some information. And so I can look at build counts, throughput, load, deployment counts, prod incidents, and so on. And I can filter these by value streams, by teams, by applications. So lots of different ways to filter and view this data, and give me all these kind of charts. I can make my own dashboards, what it is that I'm interested in with the filtering information turned on. So when I go into this dashboard, I see the information that I'm trying to see right now. And Velocity also has the ability to have just other data put into it. So we have a lot of plugins in Velocity that allow us to pull data from other tools. If I go to, where is it here? Let me just go to urbancode.com here. If I go to my plugin section and go to Velocity, I can see all the various plugins that I have available to me. So all these allow me to pull data from all different environments. But I can do also custom plugins or custom data. So this is actually my beverage consumption graph, is data that's injected from my hypothetical smart vending machine in the operations room. So it keeps track of how much coffee, tea, and pop is sold every day. And I can see that, well, it looks like there was a release that didn't go too well because people are working Saturday a lot here, and Friday was a really very busy night as well. So things like this, we can pull data from any system. Velocity has a REST interface, and we can inject that data in as a custom metric, and you can start to add these to your charts and graphs and dashboards. That's about it for Velocity. Again, 4 main pieces to it: the release management, the pipeline view, the value stream, and the insights. And together, that gives you all this information that Velocity is pulling from all these tools, and creates nice different views for you. So at that point, I think we're going to go on to an EWM demo now. And I will stop sharing.
Okay,
Thank you.
so
Ozzy, if you can, yeah, Ozzy, if you can just share the presentation, we'll summarize before we can take questions.
okay, I just gave you, there you go.
Yep. Thank you, Daniel, for this great presentation. And that will be possibly the last slide. And I will give over to Bhawana again. She will do the summaries. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daniel. That was a good thing. Basically, to summarize what Daniel showed and Ozzy spoke about as well, we created a value stream map using data that was coming from an EWM project. And as Daniel mentioned, the data could not be coming from EWM and a host of other tools as well, which are used in the entire tool chain. So he showed something coming from Jenkins, etc. And the important thing here is the IBM Silk portfolio for value stream management. It provides you the capability to address multiple levels of the enterprise agile planning at all levels of scale. It helps to bring lean DevOps together with agile and integrate with third-party vendors like we just saw to create an end-to-end value stream that has a lot of intelligence into the way you could view data and look at information from different angles and pivot points. And no matter what patterns, combinations that exist in the organization, we can show progress of work, bottlenecks across the value stream to ensure that you have complete visibility and transparency of how work is progressing from an idea to its actual delivery. With that, thank you for joining us. And Kara, we can take questions if you have any.
Okay, yes, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to type them into the chat box. We'll address them. And if you think of anything afterwards, you can send those to info@321gang.com and we'll get back to you with the response. So I wanted to let everybody know that this webinar was recorded and it will be available for playback at 321gang.com in just a couple of days. You can watch it as many times as you want, share with your colleagues. We also have a full extensive library of previously recorded webinars, so please feel free to check them out. It's under our resources tab at 321gang.com. So it looks like this concludes our presentation for today, and I just wanted to thank you all for being here, and thanks to Daniel and Bhawana and Ozzy for your presentation.
Thank you, Kara, for having us. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. This concludes our webinar. Bye-bye.